and it's going to kill all of us. Hello, welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another Freaky Friday. So, I don't know if any of you know or not, but the world is supposed to end tomorrow, September 23rd. The world is going to end, and I'm not a believer of stuff like this, but this time I'm a believer, so let's just get into it. So there's this planet. It is approaching Earth from the South Pole. It is called Nibiru, or Planet X, and it's going to kill all of us. So I'm not a religious person at all, and so I don't really believe in the Bible or anything, but to each your own. That's what your own opinion. But this stuff is a little creepy. So Christians believe that this planet is going to cause the apocalypse, and this is whenever Jesus is going to come down and blah 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 blah. And this kind of creeps me out because on August 21st, which was the eclipse, I was working at the drive-thru at Tim Hortons, and this girl came through the drive-thru on the day the eclipse happened, so people were just acting weird in general, but this girl comes through the drive-thru and she has these piercing blue eyes, and she's acting weird as soon as she pulls up, and she's like, "How are you doing today?" And I was like, "I'm doing good. How are you doing?" And I take her money and pay for her stuff and everything, and she was like, "Can I just ask you one question before I go?" And I was like, "Sure." And she was like, "Do you know Jesus?" And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go." And she's like, I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not religious. I respect your religion and everything, just to each their own opinion." And she was like, "Just so you know, Jesus is coming, and if you don't find him, he won't take you with him." And I was like, "Okay, have a good day." But you weren't there, so you don't understand, because her eyes were just insanely, I don't know. For a second, I thought that was Jesus, and Jesus was talking to me, to say the least. So that's what Christians believe, and that was just a little anecdote saying that, maybe I am a believer. We don't know. Others say that this planet is a rogue planet that has been yet to discovered by NASA or any of our space exploration systems. This planet, Planet X or Nibiru, is supposed to be so big it's supposed to counteract the gravitational pull in our solar system. It is supposed to be 5 times the size of Earth. And so everybody's like, okay, if there's this planet and it's supposed to be here in a couple of days and still nobody can see it, does it exist? And everybody's saying that you can't see it because it's approaching directly from the South Pole. So unless you're really far south, you can't see it at all, which if it's 5 times the size of Earth, that's kind of fishy, but I mean, still, you never know. So the gravitational pull, because it's so large, the planet is so large, it's supposed to shift Earth slightly off of its axis. And because of that, there's supposed to be insane storms, earthquakes, just natural disasters, which hello, Irma, Harvey. There's been wildfires. There's been earthquakes in India, and I think there was one in Idaho or Iowa or something. I don't know. I mean, granted, it is hurricane season. The wildfires weren't natural; they were caused by something. I think it's natural for earthquakes to happen every once in a while, but still, it's a little fishy. So, Revelations 12:1 is supposed to explain the world ending. And it says, I can't really read my writing, but I wrote it down, but we're going to try to read it anyway. "A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. And being with child, she cried out in her travail, and was in anguish of delivery." So, the sign that they're talking about in this, they're talking about this. A great sign appeared in heaven. That was supposed to be the eclipse that happened on August 21st. On September 23rd, the day that the world's supposed to end, the moon appears directly under the constellation Virgo, which it says that Virgo a woman clothed by the sun, blah, 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 makes sense. So those constellations align on September 23rd. That's the sign it's talking about, or that's the day it's talking about. We're all going to die. My information is kind of all over the place, but this planet is supposed to be all the way out past Pluto. It's orbit is supposed to be like go way out past Pluto. It orbits around a brown dwarf planet, and that we can't see, so we can't even see its orbit, and that's why we have never discovered it before until now. And as for what NASA has to say about it, they say it's fake. So, but I mean, the government might just be hiding it from us, because like that's what the government does. So also, this is why I think we don't know about it. This is my personal opinion. So you know how there are a bunch of shelters like under the Denver airport. There's just like a whole city underground. I'm pretty sure Area 51 has an entire city like underground. Well, they think there's a city underground. Nobody really knows. So I think that the rich, the extremely elite, built all these underground places, and because they knew that this planet was coming and it was going to obliterate the Earth. But they don't tell anybody. The government isn't going to tell anybody because they only want to save themselves, and they see this as a perfect way to get rid of the poor. Because like if you look at the rich are making the most money. They're supposed to be paying the most amount of taxes. Like I don't really know how all that works, so I'm just not even going to get into it. But if they get rid of the poor, and they don't have to do it directly, it's just because of a natural disaster, then they can just get rid of the poor. They don't have to worry about it anymore. They don't have to pay for it anymore. And a friend actually at work had to like initially put this thought into my head, and whenever he said that, I was like, oh, thank God I'm not poor. Like, thank God I'm not in the poverty class. And he was like, no, dude, you're in the poverty class. So then I was like, oh crap, I have to look into this because we're all gonna die. Other conspiracy theorists have talked about this, and they have said that like, so like this planet has always been around, like regardless if it's real or not, like the thought of it coming and hitting Earth has always been around. And there's this lady who said that she's been implanted with the aliens that live on Planet X have implanted her with a chip so that she can communicate with them. And they keep telling her that like when Planet X is going to hit Earth, and like the aliens, which is where our humankind is supposedly supposed to be from, or we're supposed to originate from, are going to come and they're going to take over and inhabit our Earth, which I don't know. There's like a bunch of different theories. Like some people say it's going to hit us. Some people say that like aliens are just going to come, like it's going to come near us, and it's like the gravitational pull is kind of like throwing us off, but it's not going to hit us. It's not going to kill us, but the aliens are going to come and take over the whole world. Either way, it's happening on September 23rd, which is tomorrow. I forget what I was saying. Oh, there's this lady, and she was like, okay, so you know how the world was supposed to end in 2012? She conveniently said that this is why the world was going to end in 2012, in December 2012, whenever it was supposed to happen. That Planet X was coming because she was implanted, and the aliens told her that they were coming in December 2012. But it didn't happen, and so everybody was like discrediting her because like of the Mayan calendar or whatever. But here's the thing with the Mayan calendar, and I learned this in anthropology, and I'm proud that I soaked something up out of my classes because I usually don't pay attention. In anthropology, my professor told me that the Mayan calendar was simply, whenever it ended, it didn't mean the end of the world. It meant that the calendar was starting over. So the calendar had a time period of so many years. I'm just going to say like 1600. I have no idea. Like that's probably not right at all. But every 1600 years, it started over. So since the Mayan calendar was made, we had ran through it 4 or 5 times, and like so then we knew on that certain date like there was going to be a solar eclipse, or like you know, we look back on this calendar and we see what happened on certain dates, and like things like that are supposed to happen again on that date. So it's simply the end of the Mayan calendar, not the end of the world. It was restarting the Mayan calendar, and it wasn't restarting the world. People were thinking like they were going to wake up and it was going to be like 0 AD again. No, man, not happening. But that was a fun fact, something that I actually learned. So I thought that was cool. This video is all over the place, but I'm freaking out. The world very well may end. I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, I feel like I've lived a fulfilled life. I'm having a grand time here at college. Like, if I don't have to pay back my student debts, I won't really be mad. I'm joking. That was a joke. Don't. That was a joke. But anyway, we may or may not wake up in the morning. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And I will hopefully See you in my next video. Bye.